also do it live on Instagram. I've found that there are a lot of people that's the best way to access it. So I try to accommodate. Alrighty. Well, so you're just back from vacation. Let me grab a block. We had snow, for those of you that are back or out in California. So we put you on mats mainly. We get on the floor sometimes because it's important for us to get up and down off the floor, but it's difficult for some of us. These are racquetballs. Okay. I'll take mine off shortly. Back up so you can see my feet. We've got some new bodies, some brand new people. I'm running late because we've had snow. And here we are. So they're going to come under your feet, right? And before I usually kind of have us pause and breathe. But will you breathe while we have the balls going today? Not that we're too rushed to breathe and do our little breathing exercise, but that we have enough. I'd just like you to have some tingle in your feet before we get started. So in this class, we kind of create ways that the body can move. Before I got on the video, we talked about why we use the blankets. And ideally, with the hips, or with the spine, you want the hip bone higher than the knee when you sit. So oftentimes, I'm going to sit on the floor for a sec, because oftentimes we'll sit like this when we sit on the floor. Well, this tends to take and cave our spine, okay? And so one of the things we want to do is, regardless of where we sit, the knees are below the hips. One of the things I always almost do anymore is stick a block under there, because then I've got my hips up just that little bit higher. That feels so much better. There's just such an ease that comes, but you don't have to have it, So that's just kind of the ideal position for when we're sitting. And just notice your chairs at home. Most of them do this to us, right? Couches, they don't come up this high, but we tend to do that. So as we're pushing the ball into the foot, kind of mushing it into the floor, you're looking for places that are sensitive, that maybe have a, like, oh, that's a little, like, I feel that one. Just pause there. And then the second move is just a shearing across the foot. And I want you to today, oftentimes keep the heel down and just roll over, but would you also kind of roll in the middle? And then also roll to the heel. And then let's go forward and back to the heel. You might lose it, it's okay, we can just chase them down. Go ahead, and the next time you're back, call it three amigos. Put your big toe on one side, your pinky toe on the other, and these three toes, see if you can get those, and then get your heel down. So you're really stretching those inner toes. That's the thing, and sometimes, right, we can't get the toe wide. It won't go on the other side of the ball. And that's one of the things that our shoes that we wear that are narrower in the toes, that's kind of one of the things that does for us. This helps stretch the foot wide. And then we're going to come up, take your three toes, and just roll them right over the top And just stretch, yeah, lift up. Now, if you get a cramp in your arch, just kind of come down and then come back in, but you're going for like a pointed toe with the whole foot. Yeah, go ahead and see if you can push into the ball with your toes. I have to come back in when I come out. Come back in, find that, and then see if you can reach the top of the foot forward. Yeah. And then release. Go ahead and change the ball to the other foot. But before we go on, will you just kind of roll through your ankle? And then one thing that we haven't done, it's another reason I put mats underneath your chairs. Reach back. See if you can get the toes. Very nice, Leslie. Then I'd like you to push into the floor. Jerry's like, what the freak? Okay, that's a movement our feet should make with ease. But when's the last time you did that, right? Notice also, can you feel the stretch along the shin muscle? Now, all of you can do this. We have some that have had knee surgery and they're not doing this so well. But go ahead and just slide all the way down. See if you can get all the way. You can come to the edge of your chair if you need to. I'd like you to push into the top of the foot there and then pull the knee down and pull this thigh forward. So it's a stretch on that quadricep muscle. And then we're going to add one more piece onto it. We just lean back. Yeah. So what I try to design is, how do I access this body if getting up and down is tough, right? How do I stretch my quad? Well, guess what? We just found that, didn't we? Go ahead. This also stretches. Go ahead and just lift up. Push into let your elbows bend, push into your, those are hands. I keep trying to say feet and it won't come out because it's not the right word. And then release. Gently come back, plant that foot. Yeah, just roll. Grab one of your, well, grab a block and just find movement here. Yeah, opening the hip. Now, scoot the block a little bit forward. The ball of your foot is on the block, okay? You want to be able to drop your heel. We're going for calf here. Will you lean on the edge of your knee, just above it, not right on top of the joint, and just put some weight on that side, right? Anybody not feeling the calf stretch here? Yeah. You don't feel it? Not at all? Really? Wow. Bring your foot, move your block a little more forward. Keep going, more. There you go. Now take your foot lower on the block. There you go. Now you just got a really long foot. I'm looking at your length. So turn your block up like this. Okay. Let me show you how we find your. Yeah. Now reach it down. Can you reach the heel towards the mat? Yeah. You get a stretch there. Yeah. Good. So what we're just trying to access everything in this body. So here we go. Go ahead and come up. You're going to roll it around and then pause, go the other direction, and then go ahead and push down again. Take the lean. You're really reaching the heel. So that we've been talking about 7 movements, okay? 7 kind of intrinsic, very just subtle movements. I think, Christy, you were here for the first one, the breath, right? The breath is this movement that is constant, but we don't constantly think of it. We never lose our ability to breathe until we die, or, we're really ill and we're on a ventilator, okay? But we really have the opportunity to just pay attention to it or not, depending on. Go ahead and release that. Yeah. Okay. And then just change. Well, you've got this. Let's do this first here. Okay. Find that reach and stretch and the tight places on this side of the foot.
I've got good stuff, so
And find places that are maybe a little painful or maybe not. Okay. And then go ahead and just roll across. Start at the ball of the foot, heel is down. Okay, go to where you're at the arch of the foot. And then the top. Now, one of the things I find that where I'm most sensitive is probably right here on the inside of that heel. So if that's one of your places, go ahead and stay there. And then roll long. So these levels, or they're not really levels, but they're 7 movements. But I think of them as levels because the breath is so intrinsic, we start with the breath. The next movement, and none of you have had this movement yet, we talked about it last week. Go ahead, roll the ball forward, come down and find those 3 amigos. And then pick up your heel. So you're putting the ball of the foot down, the ball of the foot is on the ground, and then I'm one big toe, pinky toe, and then I'm crunching in my toes. Yeah, there you go. And then lift the heel up. Leave the ball of the foot down. So you're compressing, you'll see your toes start to turn white. So we've got that breath that's just constant. The next constant is feel what's hitting the ground. The sit bones right on our seat and our feet. That's what's on the ground. There is always, there can be a collapse where you just don't do anything, but almost always there's a little bit of a yielding. We have to push down into the floor. And then Newton's law teaches us that we have that opposite reaction. So there's always that. Go ahead and come up and over. Find our favorite. Reach the top of the foot towards me. As high as you can get it. If you find you get it, come. Yeah. Just let that Charlie horse go away and come all the way back and reach. Yeah, and then go ahead and take it. You can just put a block kind of behind you. And then here we come to here, put it back behind. Oh yeah, it's like, oh yeah. And then just, push into the mat and feel yourself just push away. We're not really doing the quad yet. We're really getting all the way along the calf and the front of this foot, giving us this, right, the different flexions, the different ranges of motion. Then go ahead and slide that back. This one's a little tricky. Hold on. And then push not only the top of the foot in the mat, but the knee towards the floor. Is that okay? And then maybe holding on, take a lean back and feel stretch along the front of that. So, if stretching your quadricep is difficult, okay, this really does make a difference. So finding that push. So the second type of energy is this yielding, where you push down into the floor, and because of that push down, you can feel that. You can feel the stretch. You can feel the opposite movement that is away from that push down. Go ahead, come back out, flip the block down, right? Come up and wiggle through that knee. But it's okay, just let it go. Okay. So here, when we're doing this kind of movement, I don't really feel much pressure at all on my feet. Yeah, would that be correct? But in my sit bones, I feel a lot because there's some weight pressing down. That is enough to when we sit, to let us sit upright. Yeah, we have to train our muscles along the spine to hold us up there because they get tired and they're like, but I want to sit like this. This is so much more comfortable. But go ahead and collapse. Okay, this is what the yielding teaches us. Collapse. Now try to take a deep breath. And you notice that that's inhibited, okay? So we come up, we sit down, we reach up, we yield, okay? That's the second form of energy that's kind of intrinsically in the body. The one that I really wanted to focus on today is called, it's radiating out, okay? So we're gonna play like we're human starfish. Go ahead and, wait a minute, we've got to do one more thing, we didn't do this. Take the lean, okay? If you're not feeling anything, turn your block over, grab that because you want that stretch on the calf muscle. Feeling that, just the length, and here we've got the yield going on. So anytime that we want to stretch or work the body, we're using this yield principle, okay? Go ahead and come up, do some circles in the ankle, go both directions, hard to do when you're up high. And then go ahead and just kind of move your block out of the way. All right, so human starfish. Go ahead and go as wide as you can. Now, your feet, our feet can turn out wider, but you really just want the knee and the foot. It's okay, Jerry, they run away all the time. Okay, we just have the knee pointing that way. Okay, so my starfish is gonna have 2 points going that way. There's 2 points down here into the sit bone. There's here, and there's the top of my head. So there really are only 5 points. This radiating energy is the opportunity. We can do this from the center core, spread out. Just get wide. So my head's going, my hands are going, my knees are going. Feel the width that you're creating in your body. Now, as women, we are like, oh no, let's be tiny. We don't like width. As men, they're like, oh, I want those shoulders, right? So finding that, then go ahead and just release. Notice, just close your eyes here. Notice the energy you've created by the movement we've made. Should have had to do it before and after, but I didn't think about it soon enough. So we have this inhale. We have this push down out of that. And then we can, from the very center, we can open and notice. We're going to do them in that order. So try to keep your eyes closed because we're very visual people, and I want you to just feel this in your body. Pause, and the only thing I'd like you to think about is your breath. The inhale, the exhale. Inhale. And the movement that is created by that. Now, often in yoga, we will move with the breath. So an inhale will make us bigger, and an exhale will either fold us over, or an inhale reaches us, moves us, an exhale steadies us, tightens us, okay? So really there's that breath, and in yoga, it's probably the one thing that a lot of the other exercises they don't focus on. You have it at any time, is this inhale and moving with that. Then I'd like you to just find those sit bones. Just rock side to side. If you don't know what that looks like, totally open your eyes and take a peek. Okay, there's that, and then find that, and then just kind of get a little heavy there. Push down. Go ahead and push into your feet. Notice what happens to the body. It wants to sit up taller. Find that length. Embrace that length. This is anti-aging, guys. How many of you know Dowager hump? Yeah, that little thing that starts to happen with the thoracic part of the spine, where you time it there, okay? We have to reach away from that. We have to reach away from that when we are doing workout things, when we're in the kitchen, when we're on the computer, when we're at the piano, when we're in a sewing machine, okay? All of those motions do this to our spine. If we never do this, then our spine will take this shape. That is just kind of how it works. So go ahead and bring one of your hands, bring it behind your head, okay? Right now, the back of the head has a little bit of yielding to do. Push the head into the hand, but don't let make the hand push back. Notice what happens to the head, the neck, even the chest. I can even feel it down into my waistline. Take a deep breath. So we always come back to that breath. And then from here, okay, we've got one elbow lifted. Find that starfish, human starfish. Push down. Don't take the knees wide, or you just need right from here. Find the knee, find that they're wanting to widen. The hips are gonna go with it. You're gonna feel it here. Find this down shoulder doing it as well, and the head. So from the very core, it's like I'm taking this little tiny starfish and I'm trying to make it really big by stretching it, reaching it, okay? And then release. And roll through your spine. Does that make sense? Did you feel that? Kind of human starfish stuff?
Starfish stuff, we're not really expanding.
Yeah, that's a mental exercise for you. Okay, we're gonna come back, we got another side to do. So go ahead, come up here, push that head into your hand. You'll have many opportunities today, Christy, to feel that. So with the knees together, you're trying to expand them, but you're not letting them move. Right? You're trying to expand and you will actually feel more work in the hip than anywhere else. Find the elbow going one direction, but then here you've got this right arm that is just like, well, what about that? Just pull. It's like you try to widen without letting it move. The top of the head also reaches up. Now there is going to be another energy that, feel all that length and expansion we've created. There's going to be another one that creates a tightening of that. So just play with that for a moment. You've got all this expansion going on, and then take the core muscles and just try to tighten them like a corset. And notice they do it. And then release. A little better to understand? Yeah. So part of it is, when is the last time you were told to be a human starfish? You feel like, I don't think I can remember any time that anybody told me to do that. So this third kind of energy is this kind of, I'm just gonna be wide. Now I've shared this, and I don't know if you've heard this, Christy, if you were here, but I had a daughter play collegiate soccer, and her soccer coach said, Chelsea, I want you to run wide. She's talking to me, and I'm like, what do you mean run wide? I said, you better ask your coach. But then, as I've taught yoga, I recognize that running wide is what kept her strong enough that she didn't get knocked off the ball easily. She was like, oh, a force to reckon with, right? And that is kind of this feeling, I want you to be wide. And it reminds me of the Marianne Williamson quote, right? Where she says, don't play small. Don't limit yourself. I just slaughtered that quote. I will put it on the YouTube in the notes, but it's just that don't play small. Find this way. So we're gonna try and find that in everything we do today. We're never gonna lose the breath, right? We never go up and expanding, but not breathing, right? We're gonna find, so we build on these. So come back to that breath. Start with that. We're going to move a little bit today. Go ahead and inhale, let the arms come up. Exhale, let them go forward and lean. So this lean is not a round, where nothing here moves. This lean is the top of the pelvis. You can put your hands right down there in your hip socket joint. You're moving forward there. Yes, beautifully done, okay? That's the exhale, and the arms are going to be out. The next inhale, we're going to totally tilt the pelvis the other way. With the hands on the thighs, we're going to tuck the tailbone and round, tight as we can. So if you're back where you'll hit the chair, scoop forward on your chair. That's why we don't use these. And these are so much lower for our hips, we need a couple blankets on them. Inhale, again, tilt. So notice what we're doing in the pelvis area. Exhale, come back the other direction. Very carefully, Christy. Inhale, finding that range of motion. Now, when you take your hands up, that creates a greater torque. So come back, inhale up, exhale, hinge here. Make your hands, put them right here where the hip goes into the pelvis area. And then squish the fingers. Yeah, that's where we want to fold from. That's what this joint is meant to do. That is not what this back is meant to do. And that's when we injure our backs, okay? So back, we'll get through it, I promise. Inhale, come up. Exhale, take that hinge. Inhale, hands on the thigh, just round it back. using the muscle, and inhale, come all the way up. Go ahead, do it again. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Exhale, go ahead and pull it back a little deeper, and then inhale, uncurl the spine and lengthen, and then just take an exhale. Let's do it again. Inhale, exhale, find the hinge. Inhale, hands come down. Exhale, round it back, tuck, push into the rib cage. Inhale, unwind, stacking one vertebrae on top. And then exhale, just sit. We're gonna do one more. Inhale, exhale. Hands on thighs, inhale. Exhale, round, and exhale back. And then inhale, unwind, sit up straight, and exhale, okay? So I want you to do a couple things for me. Hands are gonna be here, lean a little forward. We're gonna do 5 of these, but I want to hear your audible breath, so it'll sound like this. And inhale. Try to make it instead of, yeah, okay, you got my drift. Inhale, you're just here. Exhale. Inhale, tilt it back. Exhale. Inhale, tilt it. Exhale, ground it. Inhale, tilt it. Exhale, round it. Round. And then sit. Pause. And notice what you've created here in the waistline, okay? We're gonna add a twist onto that. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, twist, okay? This hand comes to this thigh. This hand comes to the back of your chair. So opposite. Okay, yeah, you got it. Go ahead, reach down, grab your block, and put it between your legs, because this is what we tend to do. We put our hand here and we let the knee go, okay? We want to have a yielding, something that can yield into. So with the hand here, this hand here, now the shoulder loves to roll forward. We don't want to work with the shoulder forward. So we want to reach it up and roll it back as much as we can, okay? Now here, you've got this, you've got this. See if you can just lengthen up on an inhale, and on an exhale, you're gonna take this side of the rib cage that way. So you're just gonna pull, yeah, nice little twist. Now, what do we tend to do? We tend to just take our neck and go crank, crank, crank. Let the neck be even to where you can get the sternum. And then maybe just let it go an inch more to the side. So there is a little twist, but it's not a torque. So go ahead, see if you can lift your hand off your leg, lift your hand off the chair and hold. It's gonna require some muscle in this core, and then inhale, bring it all the way back to center. That's some of the most fabulous core work we can do. Inhale the arms up. We're gonna go to the other side. Hand comes here, hand comes here. I always remind you to check your shoulder, because the shoulder loves, and we're so worried about the twist that we forget the shoulder. But one of the things that happens when we twist especially is when I come up and go around, I'm already starting to move that rib cage back, okay? Sit up, inhale tall. See if you can pull this side of the rib cage towards the back of the chair. Notice that that's different than pulling the shoulder back. We're thinking of that rib cage. Squeeze into here, holding on. We're finding a yield. Now we're gonna add on the radiate. From here, human starfish. Can you reach? It's gonna be the knees going forward. The elbow is gonna be a point. Maybe his shoulder and the head. Find that radiating energy, just expanding. Lift one hand off and then the other. Stay in the twist. Don't slingshot out. Inhale, come all the way back. And then you go ahead and just roll through that spine. So Christy, I was kind of researching and thinking, I think you're gonna be okay to do these curl backs a little bit because it's not weight bearing. That's what it's probably the most hard thing.
Selfish to me.
Yeah, we need to have, we don't want to not have that range of motion. But when we do it in a forward fold, we've got gravity pulling us down here. We don't have that here. Okay. So, did you feel that radiating energy? Were you able to? It was a little weird.
I don't know.
I know. So I'm hoping that you look for it. That's why I'm giving you the opportunity to find it in different places. Okay. Go ahead and inhale up. We're going to do one more twist each way. Go ahead in one hand and then the other shoulder pulls back. Okay. Go ahead and lengthen on the first inhale. Just get taller. That's yielding because we push into the feet and into the sit bones on the chair and we lengthen up. Okay. We use our hand. We use our other hand. Take the rib cage back. Okay. From the very center, see if you can expand the rib cage to the side and then let the elbows go with it. Let the head reach up. You're going to have sit bones reaching one direction while the knees together go the other direction because they're squeezing the block. You can actually feel that back hip over here actually get a little wider. See if you can find you're just making a larger blueprint. And then go ahead. Release the hands, inhale, and work your way all the way back. Go ahead and roll. Those are working some core muscles. So a lot of people, especially if they work in a seated place a lot, they have this opportunity to really get their body in this same position for hours. And that is never beneficial. One of the best examples was a man I just highly admire because he came to me he was like in his late 60s, kind of where I'm at now. Anyway, he was in his late 60s and his knees were really bothering him and his back and he had a job where he wrote. And so he's sitting at a computer. He'd set a timer for every 45 minutes to get up and do some of these exercises. And he said, I can now play tennis 4 days a week. And before, one day was killing me. And I was just in awe that he took the discipline, right, to put this into his life every day. Okay, we got one more side. Did I give you enough break in between? That was what I was hoping for. Inhale up. Exhale, take that twist. Pull that shoulder on the back. Squeeze this block together. Okay, with the knees, and then try to inhale, lengthen, pull the rib cage towards the back of the chair. That's where we want the twist to happen, is down there first. And then go ahead and really try to feel like you're just making a larger blueprint. Starfish maybe is the wrong term because it symbolizes 5 directions, right? Like a star, just make everything radiate wide. And then inhale, release the hands, hold, and exhale, come all the way back. And come and find some of this roll again. You can lose the block, beautifully done. Okay, so you've all got a chair. Christy, you're gonna want yours over here on this side. Yeah, just pick it up, go over. There you go. Okay, so we oftentimes started doing this here, but as I watch all of you, I'm not sure, you be careful, put that block handy. Okay, I'd like you to go like this. Oh, a little bit more, is that okay? Now, the only way this is not okay, if when you go up like this is what your back does. You see, here I am sitting up straight. You know this. This is what you teach your children. It's like stand up straight all the time, right? If it's going like this, then that's too high, okay? So you kind of assess, can I rock forward and still be up on those sit bones? If you can, this is the place for you. I found that this was getting too easy. Now, this other foot, you're actually going to take wide as well. We did this last week. Aren't you glad you missed? Okay, make sure that the knee isn't collapsing in. That's one of the worst things to do on the knee. You want the knee pulling wide. Okay, now Yeah, so you start to get a cramp,
Yeah.
you come down, you come down. Do you need to come all the way down?
No.
Wiggle, okay. And maybe you come back up, maybe you don't, okay? So you've got both options. If you're gonna do the block, put it so that it's right there so that you're wide. So that block will need to come. Wiggle. Okay, so wherever you're at, starfish, we're just gonna inhale, and then I'd like you to just radiate out. You're gonna feel shin. You might not feel toes, but I feel a little bit of toes. Shins go that way, okay? Shoulders, we can even take the arms here. Top of the head is going that direction and expand. Right from the very core, radiate out. Now, still go back to your breath, right? We're not holding it. So there's a breathing motion. Notice what's happening right in here. Or it might be your shoulders, okay? Make sure that there's not a this. So pull those shoulders, let's roll them up and back. Turn the palms up. That'll make this a little bit easier for the shoulders to roll on the back. Find that width, find that expansion. Make the left knee or this knee that's on the ground and this knee not only go this way, but let them pull that way as well. So the expansion is kind of going back and then out. Hands, palms up, reach, and then release. Come in. Slowly, gently move this foot in. Go ahead and pick up this one and wiggle that out. So I've tried to create movement where, that our body needs, that's very difficult to do, getting up and down from the mat. Okay, we're moving the chair to the other side. Okay, if you need a block, put that handy. You can totally start by coming onto the block and see. Okay, you'll notice that there's going to be a different size, or sides are not the same, is what I was trying to say, and that did not come out. Go ahead and take this over here. Okay, you're going wide. Okay, you're making sure, just look down and make sure the knee's not doing this, because you're pulling it wide. Yeah, you don't go wider here than you can get your knee. You want it right there. We honor this body right where it's at today, okay? And then we just lengthen up. See if you can find your starfish, right? There go the knees. The sit bone's actually pushing down. The hands, the top of the head, expand, breathe. You can feel a root down with the sit bone, but mostly it's just this side even. And then the other thing is that foot. From that, find the yield. The yielding energy is actually when we desire to push down so that there can be that opposite reaction. The yielding isn't that opposite reaction, right? The yielding is I'm going to push down to find that. And then go ahead, take about 2 more breaths to make us even on each side. Take another breath. And then gently go ahead and lean back on and wiggle through. Okay, we're actually going to do it both sides one more time and add on one more little thing to them. This gets into the hips again. Okay, so come to the and yes, we could have done the same, but I want to do a second side. Okay, this one steps wide, but it's not so wide that my knee rolls in. Most important, that's one of the worst things we can do. So, the knee's fine, the foot's fine. You have this massive flexibility in that foot. You don't want it. You want the knee and the foot pointing exactly the same. Yeah, there you go. That's, because when we do this, yeah, we're torquing knee joint. Knee joint doesn't have muscle. It's got our tendons, okay? So find that width, find that expansion, go out to find the expansion, and then keep expanding with the hands down. Because we're going to take that same tilt. The top part of this pelvis is going forward, and then I'm going to try and tuck it under. Use the hands on the thighs. The knees are going to want to do this. Don't let them. Yeah. So we're keeping those legs wide, and when we lessen our curl when we pull in like this with our knees. Okay, so find that. It's a pelvic tilt. It's just moving this part forward, moving this part back, moving this part forward. Can you feel that in your hips? It's one of the best, it's one of the movements we forget to do. So go ahead and just come in and find that range of motion. We're gonna add one more little thing on. Just heel till this foot, till it's straight forward, okay? Take this leg, flex the foot, cross it over. Is that okay? Okay, I want you to hold, instead of here, here, so that you're giving a little of extra support for that. And then try, to push this down, because there's a lean going on. You want it to come here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we're looking for the stretch. Okay, you guys, you're totally fine here. Okay, Gary, can you see this knee doing this? Yeah, so just kind of paying attention to all those little details. All right, guess what? Same movement. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. Can you feel a stretch? Does anybody not feel the stretch in the outside of the hip here? And breathe. And out. Do it that way. Do it here. That's a great idea. Just give yourself, because that's too intense. I can see your face. Yeah. Then go ahead and you guys add this in. This is an extreme. What this does is we're taking the thigh bone and pulling it away from the hip and creating some space. Okay. So come here and find just range of motion. You can use one hand. You're going to reverse it. You can use two hands. Okay. And then come. We're going to move the chair back to the first side. Or this is the second side. It's twice now. This comes up, right? This goes out, come to the edge of your chair. Yeah. So, and don't be here. You really want to work with the ankle right below the knee. Yes, very nicely done. And then find that width, find that expansion. Let the hands go to start. You're finding that human starfish, that space. And it's a lot going on right here and a lot going on here in the shoulders. And then the hands can come down and relax. But you're still trying to reach the shoulders. It's like your arms are here, but you've got to push into a wall on either side, and you'll find the shoulders expanding. And then we're going to find this, and then this. Notice what the shoulders do. This, and then there's a round. This, and there's a round. Our spine is meant to move this way. We don't want to never move that way, because then we'd walk around like this and we couldn't bend over, right? So we're really looking to just move in and out. Go ahead and move this foot back, center, pick up, cross over. Yeah, and again, watching this knee, pulling it back. Yeah, so we're just being so careful. One of the things we tend to do is it's like, oh, I've got to get this position. I've got to get my knee up here. And then we totally have this collapse going on. We're actually causing more damage on the other side, right? So for right here, you're just going to find that little tilt. Yeah, it's going to be subtle because it's sensational. Yes. Finding that same tilt. And then go ahead and hold on to that foot and just create some hip circles. So we try to work through the body just in all the ways. I would really try to focus on the legs, because seated legs, if we're seated a lot, then our legs don't get motion. When our thighs are here, there's absolutely zero work going on, except for the hip flexor, because it's just keeping us in this position so we don't fall over. But the minute we lean back into something, right? And so we want to be able to use and work our legs, okay? We want that to happen. All righty. So I have the option of going, we started about 10 after. Can you go 10 after? Is that okay? Do an hour? Because we usually do a whole hour. All right, okay. So pause with your feet right there, spread them. Come through with your mind, travel up through the ankle, up through the shin. This is what we call a guided meditation or a body scan. Notice your energy, how are the knees feeling? Come through the thighs. Is there a little bit of a tingle in them we've worked on? Maybe the hips. And in this time in the hips, will you just let yourself shift side to side, almost like you're trying to do the hula seated down, and notice how the hips feel, and then pause. And is there a tingle of warm energy in the hips? How about the waistline? Maybe go ahead and wiggle a little side to side, twisting kind of thing. How does that waistline feel? Do you know what I feel the minute I get there? I can tell we haven't done any side bends because I can feel the muscles that twisted, but I can't feel that they stretched all the way up underneath my armpit. So we're going to come back and find that area. Okay, from there I'm going up through my chest, my shoulders. My shoulders are saying you need a little more work too. Go ahead and roll them forward, up, and back. Forward, up, and back. Making the biggest circle you can, right? And then reverse that. It's going to go back and up and forward. So we're looking for options. We're looking, how is my body feeling? And then go ahead and just pause and notice that is a little bit more, but it's still not enough. So we'll do a little bit more there. Notice the neck. And I go, oh, we need to do some neck. So go ahead, inhale to one side, and on the exhale, let the neck move all the way back to the other side. Inhale, move it. And it doesn't matter if you're slower or faster than anybody else. You're moving with your breath. We are trying to slow it down a little bit, but not so much that there's any. When we hold our breath, we create tension. That tension just isn't in our throat. It actually is down for sure through the whole core, the whole abdominal cavity. Still breathing, still moving. And then I'd like you to go ahead and lift, come back to center. Lift your chin up. Now, we tend to just collapse this. I'd like you to take and expand. We're going to find human starfish with our neck. I know Christy thinks I'm weird already. So really feel the jut get wider, the jaw jut. Let it widen. Maybe the shoulders have to help by going a little wider. And then reach the chin as high as you can, wide. And notice, yeah, it changes a little bit, but there's no compression in the back of the neck. And then take your hand, make a fist, put it right there in that hollow, and come up and over. Pushing into the hand, feel the stretch on the back of the neck. Take a couple of deep breaths into that stretch. Pull the shoulders away and down the back. You'll find a little more stretch. And then release. Okay, beautifully done. Bring an ear here and bring an ear here. So my body said we need to do this right now before we do anything else. Coming back here. Now, we can bring a hand up and over. There is a rule. We never push with the hand. This poor little neck is way under supported. So you can push with the hand as long as the head goes back into the hand. There's that yield. So it's like the head or the hand is the floor for our foot. Go ahead and lift this left arm. You're gonna just kind of push on a little bouncy ball on the ground, an imaginary bouncy ball. Go ahead and move it forward and move it back and move it back a little more and move it back a little more. And then release and roll through that shoulder. This time use your elbow. And take the other elbow. Range of motion. We want muscle, we want strength, but we want range of motion. Okay, we've got another side to do. Go ahead and come up and over. Hand, find the tug of war or the yield, right? Left hand lifts. Little bouncy ball pushes. See if you can expand. Can you feel that radiating right from the center of where you feel that stretch? And then move that arm forward. Move that arm back. Move it back. Move it back. And release over the shoulder. Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes again as we continue our body scan up through the neck. Notice the neck now. Notice the shoulders a little bit now. We'll still do some back work too. Go ahead and come up. Maybe find the mouth, the nose. Flare the nostrils as you inhale. Notice what a deep inhale that is, and then unflare them as you exhale. Go ahead and inhale again. Flare the nostrils. We even work our noses and exhale. Compress and let that air. Go ahead and think about the ears. Reach the eyebrows towards the ceiling and stretch through the eyeballs. And then drop the eyebrows and just stretch through the forehead without squunching eyebrows up. Notice the peace that comes. There's this kind of calm that comes as we work into this forehead. I just find that's always amazing. And then release and open your eyes. So I try to do a body scan. I listen. There's ones you can find recorded ones. I've recorded a couple that I could give you if you're interested. But one of the things is just every night kind of scanning through, how do I feel? What is my body saying it still didn't get today? Okay. So we didn't get enough into our shoulders and our upper back, so we need to work a little bit more there. Go ahead and you're going to stand up. You're going to walk around to the back of your chair. I'm going to turn mine so that that you can see. Okay. You're going to put your hands here. You're going back for a stretch. Walk back. Bend your knees because I'd like your spine to be long. I don't want to curve in the low back. Bend your knees. Bend them deeply. Yeah. So the whole idea here is that you're going to moon somebody behind you. Yeah. Now that action of stretching those sit bones. Yes. Leslie, beautiful. Take your heels a little wider. Yeah. It's going to give you a stronger base. Nice, Christy. How's that feel? Yeah. Breathe. Make sure you're not holding your breath. We tend to do that. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come in and out of this, right? Walk in, find the stretch. When you get here, roll through the shoulders. I'd like you to try and pinch the shoulder blades together behind you. Yeah. And then release them. Plant the hands. Step it back. Come back and find that action. It mirrors our down dog. It's one of the best things we can do with our spine every day. Oftentimes I give homework. Okay. We'll go ahead and roll through those shoulders. We've walked back in, sorry. Roll through back, through them the other way. And this time I'd like you to try and make your arms like you're a goalpost. You might need to be lower. You're going to step as if your arms are pushing into the door jambs. They're stuck. Okay, take your one foot and come through, come to the toes, but your arms are stuck in the door jamb. Feel the heel that happens on the inner part of the shoulder. Try to pull the elbows a little towards your waistline, and you'll actually find a little bit deeper stretch. You can actually even do this with the hands, and you'll find even a deeper stretch right through the anterior portion of that pectoralis major and your deltoids. Go ahead and drop those arms down, come back, roll through your shoulders. Notice tremendous stretch here, but we've also required some back work there, okay? Go ahead. Here we go. We've got a second side to do. Go ahead and step forward. There, my hands are stuck in the door jamb, and I'm not forcing this, but I feel like I've got something right here pushing into something. into the door jamb. Squeeze the elbows, the shoulders towards each other. That creates some space. Okay, and then totally turn, create a little more space. It's like now my pinky fingers are stuck in the door jamb. I'm trying to go through and then release. Anybody feel a tingle in their fingers? Yeah, that's because those nerves are getting activated in her spine. When we get that little extra stretch, we kind of do a little bit of that work. Go ahead and just roll. Come back to here. Inhale. We're going to sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring them down, touch the chair, step back, bend the knees, stretch. Come back up, walking back in, inhale, okay? Go ahead and take your elbows like they're in a door jamb, and this time instead of stepping forward because you're by the chair, you're just gonna move the arms back. Bring them forward, move them back. Now notice, we don't want the head doing this. It's like somebody's got a hold of your ears, and your ears are going back with your arms, and then release, roll through those shoulders. Plant the hands, step back, find that bend and that reach. Hold for 5 breaths. Don't let your head just hang, right? It's reaching, the crown of the head's reaching towards me. Find that length. Go ahead and bend deeper, Jerry. Yeah, deeper. Walk your feet back. Walk your feet back. Yes, yes. Lengthen, lengthening the spine. So Leslie, the heels a little bit. This is a habit I recognize because I danced. Yeah. Can you feel the difference in your hips though when you do that? Yeah. Good, good, good. And then walk back in. My 5 breaths, that's what I usually count by. Sorry. We're gonna do one more, okay? How are our shoulders? Okay, does that feel good? All right. So this time we're gonna bring them up, turn the palms up. Elbows are gonna come down and try to touch behind the waistline. They may not get there, bend. So I've got a right angle here, so let it bend. Pull it back as if somebody's taken my arms and they're pulling them this way behind me. And they're pulling those arms behind me. Now, the tendency is to let all of this go, okay? Will you bend your knees slightly, pull, belly in, okay? Head likes to reach forward here, pull up back on the ears as well. You'll notice you'll get a little bit extra movement, and then release. Round through. Okay, Christy, you're not gonna do this one. Okay, you can round here, but that's where you stay. You two, grab hold of your chair. Go ahead and just, it's like you're gonna roll to roll up your spine, coming down. Tuck your chin, come down, roll, all the way. You may come all the way to the floor, you may not, but come all the way down. Yeah. Oh, bend those knees, keep those knees bent. Yeah, that helps us get lower, no bouncing. And then roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. So, you know what the bounce does to our muscles, right? We learned that clear back in our teenage years to do this with a stretch. That's what it does to the muscle, and it fries it. It's so much better to just take and find that slow reach. I don't know if you've ever done taffy. If you did taffy like this, it would just break and break and break. You have to do these big, long pulls. We did it growing up. I hated it. I never did think it was that good. Mom would have me. Okay, go ahead. Move your chair off your mat. We're going to come down. Christy, I'm going to put a blanket all the way under. So you're going to lie down. I'm going to turn the lights off. You'll wash it up.
You remember everything.
I remember. That's just so that your hips will relax, because sometimes they won't. You need a second block. And bolster. So I know they're sitting there going, what am I supposed to do? Okay. That's your knees are gonna go over that. Okay. See if you can do that. Can I help you?
Sit down.
Yeah.
Maybe slow.
That you go as slow as you need to. Yeah. That's it. So, I'll bring you a bolster. You don't have to do that, this is a divine. There you go. And you slide towards me. Yeah. How's that feel? How's that feel? Good. Okay. I'm also, no, I'm thinking that. Oh, yeah. All righty, here we go. Tuck me in, tuck me in. And that's what this is. Shavasana is dead corpse pose, and it's designed to do just that. And those of you online, I will show you in just a minute, and we'll just edit that little portion out. Okay. You saw what she did. How's that feel? Pretty good on your back, isn't it? But your head's having a little bit of an issue here. Do you like my hair tickling your nose? Okay, that needs to move just a tiny bit more forward. Look at your legs. Ah, that look good. This one relax. Is your back relaxed? Jerry's like, I'll just sit and hold this. Oh, you go a little closer. Okay. No, you're not. This is my job. So Shavasana, the end of a yoga practice, is called Shavasana because it means dead corpse. That's what we're wanting to achieve, is to take any strain out of our body and create just some, an opportunity to relax everything. Take some deep breaths. For those of you online, I'm creating I call it Stonehenge. We lie, get our knees on it, and we can relax our backs. For a moment, your breath, you'll pay attention to it, but then let it ease to a place where you have not really thinking about it or anything else. You want to let everything go. I find with my palms facing up that my shoulders relax better. If there's a place in your body that's not relaxed, wave your teacher down or make some adjustments until your body can relax. Sometimes this is the most difficult exercise we do in our practice, because we really don't hold still very often. So I'd like to think for a moment. I'm going to leave you here for as I end the video. But I'd like for just a moment for you to just try to expand everything. Try to find a starfish in this position. The shoulders, the hands. Go ahead, your fingers may reach, right? But you're just creating width, expansion. Your starfish on the ground is huge. And then relax everything again. The light, the goodness that's within me sees that light and that goodness in each of you. And I bow to that. Namaste. Those of you that are here, you can just wait. Hey, bodies.